Good evening. I'm supposed to do more in regards to the oh wow video. I'm supposed to give you some examples. And so this article was published more than 7 years ago, all right? Meaning that ever since then, more has been done. But I understand that sometimes things that, like that comment come from a place of ignorance and not really realizing what's going on, right? You may not know this, so I'm going to show you. And this is for all people who have an issue with Ariel being black, okay? Because again, that is a fictional character. And in my writing that I read to you from May 19th, I mentioned that white actors portraying actual historical figures and our ancestors is not limited to just black people. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this. This is from the Washington Post. It says 98 times a white actor played someone who wasn't white. Hopefully it'll let me. I tried to open it on a different browser because this right here is the primary phone I record on, but I opened it on this phone and it won't let me open it on another phone. I have to pay for it. So I'm glad I didn't close it because I wouldn't be able to read it. But let's begin. Okay, this might be a little lengthy because it's 98 roles. But it says, again, 98 times a white actor played someone who wasn't white. 98 times. 98. 98. Real people, not fictional people, real people. 98 times. 98. Okay, I just had to reiterate that. Okay, this is very important. I really hate divisive commentary. I don't really participate in that. But it's necessary because a lot of people seem to just not be grasping the nature of this tiff. It's very stupid. Sorry, it is. So we'll start with, let's see, 1915, the birth of a nation. Okay. Multiple white actors in blackface. Now, these aren't any specific people, just a reminder that at this time, black people could not be on screen, like legally. So they just used a whole bunch of blackface, okay? Then we have Broken Blossoms, 1919. Richard Barthelmess, a white actor, played Chang Huan, okay? The movie, it said the alternate title of the movie was The Yellow Man and the Girl. It's not funny, but just hey, all right. So 1921, The Sheik, a white actor, Rudolph Valentino, played an Arab man named Ahmed bin Hassan. Now, again, some of these aren't actual real people, they're just characters, but these people were not allowed to be actors. They were not allowed. They were not allowed to portray their own ethnic background. Okay, The Thief of Baghdad, 1924. Douglas Fairbanks played an Aladdin-like character, so another Arab individual or Indian who was supposedly from, well, Baghdad. Okay, so Arab. Sorry, I didn't read this beforehand. I read like 10 of them, and then I was like, okay, let's move. And then Julianne Johnston, a white woman, played a Baghdadi princess. The Son of Sheik, 1926. Rudolph Valentino came back as the Arab man in the previous movie, and Vilma Banky portrayed a she is a white Hungarian actress, played an Arab dancer, Yasmin. The Jazz Singer, 1927, an actual real black person, Al Jolson, played the lead role in blackface. Black audiences weren't necessarily opposed to the portrayal, which they saw as paving the way. Listen to this, paving the way for actual black performers to take leading roles in future movies. Took a very long time. Took a very long time, but here we are in 2023. Shit is nonsense. Why are they making me do this shit? This is stupid. But you know, some people aren't on this level, so I understand. Uh, all right, so they weren't mad. They were just hoping that that would have been like, oh, you know what? We should actually put a black person in the role of a black person. But you know, anyway. Charlie Chan carries on. 1931. Warner Olin played the Chinese character and goes on to play 7 times. Okay, and he wore the same goofy mustache every time. Swing Time, 1936. Fred Astaire appeared in blackface in a musical that most people read as a tribute to rather than a mockery of black tap dancer Bill Robinson. Okay, very important. That's a real person. He's playing a real person. The Good Earth, 1937. Every lead actor in this movie based on Pearl S. Buck's novel about a family of Chinese farmers was white. Everybody Sing, 1938. Judy Garland's character in this musical wasn't black, but she attempted to join a musical troupe by auditioning in blackface. Dragon Seed, 1944. Katharine Hepburn, wore prosthetic eyelids to play Chinese heroine Jade Tan. She was the most famous white actor in the cast, but certainly not the only one. Only children and extras were played by Chinese actors. That's a slap in the face. Anna and the King of Siam, 1946. Rex Harrison, a white British actor, played King Mongkut. So, note, every race is being accosted by white people. Black people, Hispanic people, okay, they're about to come up here. Actually, they're not Hispanic, they're Mexican. Usually blonde actress Esther Williams played Maria Morales, a Mexican woman whose dreams of being a bullfighter in Fiesta, 1947. Lost Boundaries, Mel Ferrer, the son of Cuban father and American mother, played a light-skinned black doctor who passed as a white in effort to secure a job, 1949. Okay, Winchester, 73, in 1950. Rock Hudson, a white actor of German, Swiss, English, and Irish descent, played a Native American character named Young Bull, who delivered the memorable line, "All white men are thieves." God damn it. All right. They doing too much. Y'all do the fuck? I don't, I'm not trying to be divisive here. I'm just trying to show you the facts. These are the facts. Okay? You don't want black people playing white characters, white fictional characters. I'm showing you decades long of white people playing every other character. Mexican characters, Chinese characters, black characters, real people. Some just characters, just fictional characters. We're doing what you're doing. I'm not doing anything new. This isn't new. I'm sure other people have done this, but it's my turn now. Okay. Showboat, 1951. Ava Gardner played a mixed race character who was passing as white, making her marriage to a white man both dangerous and lethal. Lena Horne, an actress who was actually mixed race, was considered for the part but ultimately rejected due to her discomfort or due to the discomfort of interracial love scenes. It doesn't say hers. I would imagine, in fact, I think the first interracial kiss was between Shatner and I forget her name. I can't believe I forgot her name. Okay, but you get it. Othello, 1952. One of literature's most famous black characters is also one of the most commonly portrayed in blackface. Orson Welles, who played the title character in this adaptation of the classic play, had the sense to skip blackface in favor of a mild bronzing. Apache, 1954. Just go ahead and guess what kind of character Burt Lancaster played here. Love is Many Splendored, 1955. Dr. Han Su Yin, the mixed race doctor from China who falls for an American in Hong Kong in this movie, asserts, I'm Eurasian throughout the film, but the actress who played Su Yin, Jennifer Jones, was neither European nor Asian. She was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Tea House of the August Moon, 1956. Marlon Brando played a Japanese man named Sakini. Oh, The Conqueror, 1956. John Wayne played Genghis Khan. Oh, that's a real person. That's a real person. Yep. That's a real person, not a fictional person. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that's wrong. Because all my life, I've been taught that Genghis Khan was Asian, so why was he played by a white man? Do you see the pettiness of your comment? Yet, the Ten Commandments, which I've already mentioned, American Charlton Heston and Russian-born actor Yul Brynner, both white, played a Hebrew hero and an Egyptian pharaoh. The King and I, 1956, it was busy for Yul Brynner. In addition to playing Ramses II in the Ten Commandments, he also was King Mongkut of Sem in what would become a lifelong role for him. He went on to play Mongkut 4,625 times on stage. But you know, Ariel, that one to your 4,625 times. You know, okay. Touch of Evil, 1958. Charlton Heston played a Mexican character in degrees of brownface that varied noticeably throughout the movie. Not only did they do it, they did it tacky. Imitation of Life, 1959. Susan Conner, a mixed-race actress, won 2 Golden Globes for her portrayal of Sarah Jane, a mixed-race young woman. So far, so good, but Conner's mother was Mexican and her father was Czech. Sarah Jane was supposedly half black and passing as white. West Side Story, Natalie Wood played the Puerto Rican Maria. Breakfast at Tiffany's, 1961. If you can think of an offensive stereotype related to Japanese people, oh God, Mickey Rooney, rest in peace, sir. Probably employed it in his portrayal of Mr. Yunioshi. I've never seen the movie, so I don't know. Yellowface, check. Buck teeth, yep. Got that too. Outrageous accent, yep. Rooney defended the part for years, but ultimately made a sort of apology. So not only are you portraying other races, you're doing it tacky and offensively. Oh, God, but Ariel the Mermaid was done beautifully. You know? King of Kings, 1961. White actor Jeffrey Hunter played Jesus in yet another biblical epic populated almost entirely by white folk, playing characters of Middle Eastern descent. Even that is still wrong, though. Hebrews, Judah, all that, it's Africa. Those are black folk. But it's okay. we'll just breeze over that. A Majority of One, 1961. Alec Guinness, a white British actor, played Japanese businessman. The Outsider, 1961. Tony Curtis, a white actor of Hungarian descent, played Ira Hayes, a Native American soldier, creatively nicknamed Chief. Lawrence of Arabia, 1962. Repeat offender Alex Guinness played Arab Prince Faisal. Cleopatra. Okay, Elizabeth Taylor played the last Egyptian pharaoh. I was going to bring up Cleopatra. Cleopatra was mixed race. She was actually Greek as well. Anyway, HUD. 1963, Patricia Neal, white actress, won an Oscar for her role as Alma. In the book Alma, she was a black woman. Okay, so this is again fiction being created and white people depicting. Okay, I read the book. The book, she was black. You know, when I read the book, she was black. I never read the book. I'm just being facetious, but I read the book and she was black. How can they put that on screen as a white person? Again, just I'm taking your words and I'm putting them into this here. You see what I'm saying here? This was done 7 years ago, so this was before the Ariel the Mermaid thing was even thought of. Okay, so people have noted that white people have been doing this for a while. Okay, so the face of Manchu, the face of Fu Manchu, 1965. Before he was Saruman. Oh God, I can't believe I said that wrong. Saruman, the White in the Lord, or the what? I'm not reading it right. Christopher Lee, we'll just say Christopher Lee was an evil Chinese mastermind with extravagant facial hair and suspiciously narrowed eyes. Okay, he would then go on to play Fu Manchu in numerous sequels. But you know, that one time to these 5,000 times, the greatest story ever told, white actor Max von Sydow played Jesus in 1965. Othello in 1965. Laurence Olivier played the title character in blackface, so outrageous that the New York Times was forced to use an explanation point in his indignant review of the movie. Stay Away Joe, 1968, Elvis Presley played Joe Lightcloud, a Native American. The Party, 1968, Peter Sellers, a white British actor, played the main character, an Indian man named, last name Bakshi in brownface. The Wind and the Lion in 1975, Sean Connery played Rasuli. Okay, a sort of Moroccan Robin Hood figure. Moroccan? I know somebody from Morocco. They're very black. Very, very, very black. But all right. The Year of Living Dangerously in 1982, Linda Hunt played a male Chinese Australian dwarf. Linda not only played a man, she also played a Chinese Australian dwarf. A Passage to India, 1984. Alec Guinness, yet again, played the Indian scholar. In 1985, King David, Richard Gere played David. That one's a good one. That one's a real good one, okay? Remo Williams. The Adventure Begins, 1985, Joel Grey played a Korean martial arts master from Cleveland. Again, these are all fictional characters. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them are fictional characters, not real. But a lot of them are still, or adapted from a book where it's very clear it's a black person. Delta Force, 1986, Robert Forster played Abdul. I'm gonna say that's possibly an Arab person, but Abdul is also a very African name. Okay. I met a lot of East Africans. Their names are all Abdul. East African. Very black. Most of them. Like, and I mean in terms of shade. Like, you can't mistake it. He's African. Alon Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold, 1986. Robert Donner played Swarma, a vaguely Asian guru. Donner appears to be wearing brown face, is doing something goofy with his hands. Short Circuit, 1986. White actor Fisher Stevens played Indian engineer Ben Jabatua. Short Circuit 2, 1988. A young Aziz Ansari was delighted when he saw this movie. An Indian lead character with a Caucasian love interest in the 1980s? What's going on here, he wondered. Well, brownface. A few years later, Ansari hopped on IMDb and discovered that the Indian guy was a white guy. There's a happy ending, sort of. Ansari tracked Fisher down and talked to him about the role, ultimately concluding that he was a well-intentioned, if slightly misguided young actor who needed a job during a more culturally insensitive time. Yeah, this is the year I was born. The Last Temptation of Christ. This time William Dafoe is depicting Jesus. 1988. All right, Not Without My Daughter. In 1991, British actor Alfred Molina played Borzorg Mahmoudi, an abusive Iranian character. The House of the Spirits. 1993, Winona Ryder, Meryl Streep, Vanessa Redgrave, and Glenn Close played Blanca Trueba, Clara Del Val, Nevaeh Del Valle, and Farua Trueba, respectively, in this adaptation of Isabel Allen's novel. Despite being set in Chile and featuring characters who supposedly are Latin American, the film's only women of color played a prostitute, a rape victim, and a nanny. So you're portraying our stuff and doing it disrespectfully. But I grew up with a white Ariel, and I just find it wrong that she's black. But I'm not trying to be racist. So, okay. All right. Carlito's Way, 1993. Al Pacino played lisping. Oh, God, he had a lisp. Puerto Rican Carlito. Al Pacino is Italian, though. But, I mean, I understand. Okay, this is what I'm saying here. Because Italians are just a different type of white person. A different type of European. Father of the Bride Part 2. Jewish Canadian actor Eugene Levy played Mr. Habib, an Arab character. You got to be kidding me. I must have never seen that movie. I love Eugene Levy too, but look at the number of people, especially as we're getting into the 90s, people that are all alive. Okay, Al Pacino just had a baby like last week. Okay, Winona Ryder. I've made a video about Winona Ryder. They're still alive. This is recent. This is 1993. That's only 30 years ago. We can't get our lick back. Our one lick. You don't like that? Oh, Mary Jane. Mary Jane was also white with red hair, and now she's being played by Zendaya. So how do you feel about that? Anyway, Star Troopers, 1997. White actor Casper Van Dien played Johnny Rico, a now white character who was of Filipino descent in the book. Okay, so essentially they made that character, he was supposed to be Filipino, but they made that character white. Mask of Zorro, Anthony Hopkins played Zorro. And so did Antonio Banderas. But he's actually Spanish, and that's okay. But we're talking about 1998. All right, so Pay It Forward, 2000. Kevin Spacey plays social studies teacher Eugene Simonet, who was white in the movie but black and named Reuben St. Clair in the book. Rumor has it that Denzel Washington was offered but declined. So then, obviously the next choice was Kevin Spacey. She's very sarcastic. I like it. The Human Stain, 2003. Anthony Hopkins played Coleman Silk, a black professor who passes as white. And so for some of those, I understand, but there's enough people in Hollywood that you could find a black person that passes white. Okay? There's enough people. You're being selective and intentional. The Passion of Christ, they do a lot of Jesus. Everybody knows that. Jim Caviezel played Jesus. 2004. Memoirs of a Geisha. Okay. So this one didn't involve white people, but it did stir up trouble because Michelle Yeoh and Zhang Zi, both Chinese actresses, played Japanese characters. This infuriated people in Asia because Japanese critics were incensed that Japanese actresses hadn't been chosen for those parts, and their Chinese counterparts resented seeing Chinese women in geisha roles, particularly given the history of Japanese soldiers kidnapping Chinese women and forcing them into slavery, sexual slavery, during World War II. Okay, so I also mentioned this is across the world. Okay, now when you get into certain places, like in Africa, they're not doing that. They're all African. They're all black, right? But like when you get into Asia, some of the more they want the whiter characters. They want the essentially the bred out characters. Okay, like the darker Asians, you don't see a lot of those in Asian movies either, and so I said it. I said it. It's right here. Okay. World Trade Center 2006. William Mopather played Marine Sergeant Thomas, one of the men who helped rescue two Ports Authority police officers from the Trade Center. In real life, Thomas is black. Mopather is white. Okay. That is yet again another real person. A real person has you literally changed history. Okay, if there were no books, if this article did not exist, and the only thing they had was the World Trade Center movie, 20 years from now, they would not know that Mopather was actually black. This is accosting people's history. But I was raised on the White Mermaid. It's fictional. It does no harm to anyone. It's fictional. It's a book. It's a movie. It's not real. This is where the problem lies. But here we go. A Mighty Heart, 2007. And the reason I'm reading all of this is to show how many times real people have been accosted and as well as fictional, and there's really no way for me to pick that out of 98. I'm going to read all of them. So thank you for sticking with me for whoever decides to watch this video. A Mighty Heart in 2007, Angelina Jolie played Marion Pearl, the wife of kidnapped journalist Daniel Pearl. Pearl is a French-born woman with Afro-Cuban descent. Jolie appeared to darken her skin and alter her hair for the role. Stuck, 2007. Okay. I have a son. He was born in 2007, so it's only 15 years ago. Mina Savari played Brandy Bosky, a character clearly based on Shantae Mallard, who is black in real life. There might have been some plausible deniability here, if not for the decision to put Savari's blonde hair in cornrows. Black in real life. Black in real life. Real person. Yet another. 30 Days of Night, 2007. Josh Hartnett played... I used to have a crush on him. I used to call him Josh Hartnett. Oh, I love me some Josh Hartnett. Oh, God, he was so gorgeous. I like his little eyes. His eyes. Okay, but anyway... He played Eben Olsen, a character who was Inuit in the original comic book series. The Love Guru, 2008, Canadian. Mike Myers played the supposedly Indian Guru Pika. In this comedy, he skipped the brown face but went for an elaborate brown beard. You know who wasn't miscast in this movie? The Deepak Chopra character, who was played by Deepak Chopra. I don't know what that means. I never saw the movie, so. 21. In 2008, virtually every actor in this movie was racially miscast. The nearly all white cast was composed of Kevin Spacey, Jim Sturgis, and Jacob Pitts. Among others, the most almost everyone involved in the real life card counting scheme that inspired the movie was of Asian descent. So one thing I want to show you too, y'all went heavy with the Asians, and I'm gonna come back to that. No, I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna say it right now because I'll forget, and then I'll have to make another video. So I didn't get into like a back and forth with someone, but one of the things that in terms of race violence, um, there was a video by the Young Turks, and I had somebody was down in there talking about how violent black people are, and I said, you know, I think we're all equally violent. And he's like, well, look up per capita. Look up per capita. Oh, I understand per capita well. And one thing that it's a definite throw rocks, hide your hands in terms of violence. Because one thing I noticed is that, yes, there is a disparity in between black on white crime and white on black crime. The crime is less when it comes to white on black crime. But there's almost no Hispanic on white crime. Okay, if it is white, it's Hispanic to Hispanic, right? But there's a surplus of white on Hispanic crime. You choose to measure where you will in order to make your numbers, make yourself seem less violent, when in fact it's just that you're attacking one group more. So in the same way, I can see that here. Whereas you may not be portraying a whole bunch of black characters, but for sure you're hitting Middle East and you're hitting China hard, in Asia in general. I don't mean just China, but in Asia hard. You seem to racially miscast when it comes to Asians way higher. Okay, you are violent to Hispanics way higher, right? Where there's that small little area so that it's throw rocks, hide your hand. We don't do that, but nobody's really talking about Asians. Nobody's really talking about violence on Hispanics. It's always white against black. As long as black is the scapegoat, everybody else is getting targeted and fucked with, and they're all jumping on your side. You know what I'm saying? In some sense, right? Because Hispanic people, Latin American type people, they will also say that black people are more violent and not even realizing that black people do not harm them as much as white people do. That crime rate is much higher there. Okay, that's what they do. They scapegoat. Oh look, they're hurting all of us. Look at them. Look. While they're killing their allies in secret. Okay, so moving on. Same thing for the, and so it's the same thing in here, because I think I've seen more Asian descent people being portrayed than black people, but like I said, this affects everybody. All right, so Dragon Ball Evolution 2009, Justin Chatwin, a white Canadian actor, played Goku, who was Japanese in the original manga. Okay, so I've been watching Dragon Ball all my life, and I've only ever seen him as Japanese. I think it's wrong that a white person is playing that. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Here's a head scratcher. In the early Harry Potter movies, Lavender Brown was a Gryffindor student who appeared on screen a few times but doesn't have a huge role. In those early movies, she was played by Black British actress Kathleen Colley. In Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and Jennifer Smith in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. But before Lavender Brown's part became a speaking role in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, filmmakers held an open casting for the part, and they replaced Smith with Jessie Cave, a blonde British tap dancer. Prince of Persia. In 2010, oh, The Sands of Time. In a widely mocked casting decision, Jake Gyllenhaal was tapped to play Dastan, the aforementioned prince. I'll never forget that. He didn't even look right there, really, but it's cool. The Social Network, 2010, Max Minghella played Divya Narendra, who was one of the creators of Harvard Connection, a predecessor to Facebook. Minghella is a British actor of Chinese and European descent. Narendra is an Indian American. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Oh, God. In the anime series that inspired this movie, all characters were Asian or Native American, but in the film version, the three primary protagonists have been transformed into white characters, and only the villain remained a person of color. Only the villain. Remember, the victims of terrible crimes, the help, the villain, those are who remain people of color. Like, if they're going to give it to you, they're going to make sure that you're portrayed poorly. Drive, 2011, Carey Mulligan played Irene, who was portrayed as white in the movie but was Hispanic in the original novel. So this is an adaptation, and they actually changed the name from Arina to Irene in order to support that. Okay. Day of the Falcon, 2011, Spanish swashbuckler Antonio Banderas played Emer Nezib, an Arab character. And white actor Mark Strong played Sultan Amar. So then, this is another example. It's so funny. I just said something about this, though. Okay. So now, and they've been doing it, though. There was another example, but now that I said what I said, this is an example of them becoming allies with Hispanic, Mexican, Latin American individuals, and now they're doing it too with them. Right? Don't let them get on screen. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter who it is. It's all over the world. Argo, 2012. Ben Affleck played Tony Mendez, an American whose father was Mexican. Some people criticize the casting choice, but Mendez is on the record as saying he doesn't think of himself as Hispanic and didn't object to Affleck playing him. So, Mendez actually is a real person. Okay. And he said it's not a big deal. Right? Okay. So maybe you should just say it's not a big deal. Okay. Because that was a real life person. That was a real life person that was fine with someone who wasn't his race playing his race. You see? You see? You see how easy that is? The Lone Ranger, 2013. Johnny Depp played Native American sidekick Tonto. Oh, God. God. Don't worry, though. Depp was adopted into the Comanche Nation the year before the movie was released. You see the fucking links? Oh, my God. Star Trek Into Darkness, 2013. Benedict Cumberbatch played Khan, a villain of Indian descent. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Have I not seen that? I thought I saw all the Star Trek movies. Ignore that. You don't know I'm a geek. Warm Bodies, 2013. I don't know why I'm trying to fast forward. Anna Lee Tipton played Nora, who was portrayed as white in the movie, but who was half Ethiopian in the original book. Exodus, God and Kings, 2014. Christian Bale is Moses. Australian Joel Edgerton is Ramses. John Turturro is Seti. Spanish actress Maria Valverde as Zipporah. Oh, God. Zipporah, by the way. Sigourney Weaver as Tuya. And British Ben Kingsley as Nun. What you are not going to find is anyone from Egypt in the leading role. Noah, 2014. This biblical epic doesn't do any better. Okay. Russell Crowe, Jennifer Connelly, Ray Winstone, Anthony Hopkins, and Emma Watson for Noah. Noah. Just a reminder too, if you ever go read Noah's story and everything and you read all the names, very, very, very Arabic, very Aramic, very not white. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. White actor William Fichtner played Eric Sachs, a villain who's typically depicted as Japanese. And he'll do it again in future movies. Aloha, 2015. Again, it's fiction, so not really that big of a deal, is it? Because it's fiction. Aloha, 2015. Fair-skinned Emma Stone played the lead, who was written as a mixed race character with a Swedish mother and a half Chinese, half Native American father. The Martian in 2015. Mackenzie Davis, a white actress, played Mindy Park, who was Korean American. And they transformed Venkat Kapoor, who was an Indian man in the novel, into Vincent, who was played by, I do not know how to pronounce his name, Chiwetel Ejiofor, a British actor of Nigerian descent. You see? You see? You see? You see? Pan, 2015. Rooney Mara played the Native American Princess Tiger Lily to everyone's chagrin. Oh, what a wonderful word. That word comes out all the time. The chagrin will be of short duration. I don't hate you. I don't dislike you or anything like that. I'm just making a point as I was instructed to do. 4141. So Doctor Strange 2016, Tilda Swinton is set to play the Ancient One, a male Tibetan mystic. Ghost in the Shell 2017, Scarlett Johansson has signed on to play Motoko Kusanagi, who is Japanese in the anime series the movie is based on. Okay, so 42 minutes. I love when they make it lengthy, okay? Uh, the point is for you to have any feelings about who decides to play the role of Ariel the Mermaid shows that you actually have internalized racial biases. Okay? It's not about how long, you grew up with something. Okay? All these people grew up on these books. Imagine their disappointment when they saw it with something else. Some may not have even known, obviously you don't. That's 98 roles. This stopped at 2017. We're in 2023. All right. It's all good. It's all good. Just, it's not a big deal. And if you feel some type of way, you really want to just, try to work on that. Try to work on that. Having racial biases doesn't make you a bad person, especially you. You were raised in one of the most racist states in the country. Okay, like that whole little area down there, very racist. Okay, so there's certain things that are internalized, and maybe you try your best to be for equality and things like that. But it's still, that's why it's like deep seated. It's more of like a subconscious thing, and that's why it's called covert racism. Okay, because you do slightly passive aggressive things that have an underlying tone of racial divide and racial bias, without really knowing that that's where it's coming from. Okay, I know a lot of covert racist people. That video that I referred to, July 2019, I mentioned that. I was raised in a community. We were all reading the same books. We were all doing the same thing. Okay. A lot of them were racist. Okay. A lot of them. Some of my first memories of living in that community was them calling me the N word. You know what I'm saying? And not realizing that it was bad, but that's because that's what their parents were doing. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make you a bad person to have these deep seated biases. Okay, but I want you to very much get over that. How are you divine and find some type of issue with something as simple as that? You can't. You cannot possess that kind of mindset at all. Okay? This is a lesson for growth. Uh I'm going to read these angel numbers really quick cuz I saw two of them. And then I'm going to get off of here. Oh, no, I'll make another video. That's totally separate. Hold on. You are making the right decision. God has big plans for you. You're pleasing God with your actions. If you are unsure about your path, these numbers are confirmation that you should continue on your journey. Okay. Very few people get to hear God speak to them directly. Oh. This is a message for you. Okay. I did the right thing, not you. They're talking to me. Me addressing this was the right thing to do. They're proving the message. Okay. They want you to know that you do have a great level of compassion and that you need to learn how to share that compassion with others. Okay. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. All right, and you can do your best as well. And that comment was not your best. Okay, step it up. Have a good evening. I'm gonna come right back though because I have something else to say, but it's completely different, and I don't want to mix those two topics.